The Anxious Generation from the pages that I read, from 1 to 45 by Jonathan Haidt. His main claim was that the shift from like play-based to phone-based is what has been creating a lot of anxiety and depression in these young kids. He shows that mental health started to decline after 2010, aligning with when smartphones and social media really started to become popular, and which also started to show the decline in like children and how that anxiety and depression has developed over time. His evidence was strongest across national trends and ER data on self-harm with young girls. How the more as the years like where social media becomes more prevalent, that the more young women were self-harming and putting themselves in the ER, but also kind of does blur between causation and correlation just a little bit in his research, I found. But overall, his research was very strongly backed by that. My PSA claims that Instagram fosters like harmful comparisons in young girls, so like body image issues, specifically between the ages of 18 and 24, how like Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all these unrealistic body issues, like not body issues, but all these unrealistic standards have put body issues on young women. And then in the chapter that was by Audrey Ann Roberts, they showed that self-objectification mediates media exposure and body dysmorphia and body image issues, which leads to shame and mainly eating disorders, which I do talk about in my PSA just a little bit. And then in Haidt's The Anxious Generation, he shows that social media harms young girls a lot more than it does to young boys, especially through appearance-based platforms. So like Instagram, the fitness models, like when they're promoting like unrealistic standards for these young teenagers. And then in Hasanoff's chapter, he highlights how image-based sexual abuse exploits cultural norms of sexualization, which reinforces just those comparison pressures. So the more that people see these people online enforcing these lifestyles kind of the way they are, the more they're going to try to put those unrealistic beauty standards, body image on themselves, which not everybody's the same and not everybody's bodies are the same. So that's like really dangerous, and that's why all these young women are ending up in the ER or hurting themselves, harming themselves, because all of these awful things kind of lead to that, like these comparison-based social media sites where it's competition and you want to look like these people, like these young girls have unrealistic standards for themselves. And then honestly, compared to Haidt, I do think that I could absolutely revise my PSA to be a little more with not just raising awareness, but also more showing women how to curate feeds and then curate their personal feeds like on Instagram, TikTok, and to break the cycle of just casual comparison. So start making your social media less toxic and more friendly to you, to where you can stop looking at these unrealistic body standards and be able to like make your own, like realize and appreciate your body and how it is different from these young women, and how your body is your own, and how things work out for you and not for other people, because everybody's different. And then honestly, my view of dark side communication has shifted, because I really just thought it was going to be like negative effects on people, rather than actual systematic exploitation and vulnerability. I definitely have seen that this goes way further than just, oh, dark side, like everything has a dark side, like these things are negative. No, there's actual systematic abuse, violations, all these things going on that are harming young adults, even like minors, which is actually really, really scary. And what I really liked about Haidt was in The Anxious Generation was that he kind of talked about how adolescence is uniquely rewired by tech. Like it's not just play anymore, it's strictly like social media and technology. And then what I liked from Audrey Ann Roberts was the objectification theory, how they explain that and the mechanisms behind that. And then Hasanoff talks about how sexual privacy violations reveal these cultural norms of abuse, which is just overall really sad in general. And together they all show how this dark side harms these young teenagers and harms these young women, and why media literacy, protective actions, and platform accountability, especially platform accountability, are so important in today's society. And then to end it, my open-ended question would be, how should we balance personal responsibility, like curating our feeds, with platform accountability, like redesigning specific algorithms when addressing the dark side effects of social media on these young women and their body images? So yeah.